Hey, Steve, it's time for another episode of Teen Coffee Hub. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah. I have been having some really interesting conversations with a lot of small business owners this week. And I even fell into it a little bit because I had a little bit of a hoo-ha with Meta, which kind of restricted some of their things. And this brought up some questions about, well, if you're not there, how are you building your business? How are you building your business? And I got to realize that as I was having these conversations with these people, is because they're building their businesses only on one platform. And it's not really building a business, they're building an income stream. And when I started to tie it back to them about how you should be building it to go to your website and your funnels, and then building yourself to have a framework, they looked at me like I had lost my mind. And they were like, but I'm doing so good. Why do I need a framework? I'm just winging it right now and it's working for me.
You're right.
So I think we need to talk about this because I think it's a trap that a lot of small business owners fall into.
Yeah, I mean, where I see talking to small business owners, building an income stream is like I've dealt with so many of these people. Like they build a tile company, a plumber, electrician, a trade. Uh, give you a lot of examples. I mean, I've worked with a lot of people, but 30, 40 years, I mean, they're making their 150, 200,000 a year, happy as a
Hmm.
clown, time to retire and sell, and they don't have a business
Right.
because no one wants to buy you. They want to buy your
But
business.
yeah.
So I've seen it time and
And
time again.
yeah, I've also seen it on the service side where they focus so much on getting the sales and the clients that
Yeah,
they never develop a framework. And the minute one thing goes wrong, it causes a whole big like avalanche of problems. And then they're broke. The business is folded.
yeah,
So I think it's honestly, it all comes down to having everything documented in my mind. And the amount of people that don't have documentation for their business, past having the LLC in their books.
hmm,
They've got that. They think they're good. They think they have everything. And when I say, well, what other documents do you have? And they look at me like I've grown like three extra heads.
yeah. I've always done this litmus test with business owners. Oh, I'm building a great business. Great. When you go on vacation, who goes with you? Well, my spouse, my kids. And but they work in your business. So then what happens to your business? Well, we have to close the doors. You built an income stream.
Mm-hmm.
Simple
Oh,
litmus test.
or they turn around to you and say, I'm here from open to close every day. I don't get time off. I
Right.
haven't taken a vacation or a day off in 16 years.
Built an income stream.
Yeah. The other
Yeah.
one is if I don't post this on this and then go and do this, and they've got themselves in 20 different hats. And if one of those stops for even a day,
Right.
all falls down.
Yeah, and I think a lot of businesses, I mean, especially we saw it in, during COVID, a lot of businesses went under because
Hmm.
they couldn't service something, they couldn't perform their duties, their product services for whatever reason. But then they tried to sell because maybe they're at retirement age and they realized they don't have a business. So,
Yeah.
you talked about the framework and everything. And I think that's super important. You should always have the systems and processes in your business. But, if it's just you, your spouse, and kids in the business, and your kids don't want to take it over,
Hmm.
what are you going to do? How are you going to,
Yeah.
you know, I always want to say the fruits of all your sweat equity, it's gone.
Yeah. It's fun. But you can still have a family business where it's just your family working in it and
Yeah.
make it sellable by having those frameworks, documents, descriptions, job responsibilities all documented
Mhm.
in like a banner. I like to think it kind of like a franchise. People buy franchises for one reason because
Well,
it's turnkey
it's a system. You bought a system. You
system.
didn't buy a business.
You didn't buy a business, you bought a system. You get a big huge book, probably DVDs and trainings and all this kind of stuff. And it is everything from this is the exact way you put the key in the door and turn the
Yeah.
lock. It's not just unlock the door, it is down to the nitty gritty detailed. That's a
Absolutely.
business. That's a system. That's something that we can resell. And you can still do that with a family based business
Hmm.
because there's a lot of and sons out there that are no longer owned by that family, but they've kept the name.
Right.
So how did
Yeah.
he start? Let's be honest. We've got Joe Schmo. He's had his plumbing business for 6 months. What does he need to do first?
Start documenting everything. Well, hopefully he's got some income coming in so he can start breathing. If it's only 6 months.
Yeah.
But we're talking like get it at least a year under your belt because you're going to figure out what works, what doesn't work in your business. But
Hmm.
start documenting everything. And you know what? I know people go, well, I don't have the time to do that. You know how hard this is? This is going to be crazy. And I've done this with business owners. You have that device, that thing. What's it called again? Everyone
Oh,
carries
the
one.
cell phone?
Cell phone.
Cell phone. Oh my gosh, yeah.
And I bet they have a record feature on it.
Yeah. And I just found a free program called Whisper that you can even talk like this and it captures every sound that you make and
So,
transcribes it.
yeah, you can actually walk in your door. Okay, I'm opening up, like taking out the key, unlocking the door. It turns this way. Great. Next thing I have to do is turn on the sign. You're talking your way through your moments, your motions.
Hmm.
Have it
Yeah.
transcribed, and guess what? You're building systems.
Yeah. And the other thing I tell everyone from day one, if when they say, I'm going to start a business, are you starting a business or an income?
That's it.
And they look at me like, well, I want to start a business because I want money. Great. I says, well, from day one, I want you to go to something like Google Docs and you're
Mhm.
going to open and you're going to call this a working living document. And you are going to write down everything that goes wrong, everything that goes right, every hurdle, every step, everything that you found that you need to change to a better way. And it is going to be a massive document of complaints and frustrations. And I know that sounds really not productive, but as you're developing your systems in your business, that thing that was this huge negative impact on you in the first 30 days, you have found a solution and you have found a system that works. So you can then go cross that off and have a framework for it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be fixed straight away, but you do have to vent it all out because if you're at the framework stage and you look and go, well, I've solved 12 of my 15, how do you solve the other three?
Yeah. When people want to buy your business, they want a business. They want to have, give me the keys, let me take it over, give me the book, I can follow the book. That's what a franchise does. It even tell,
Mm-hmm.
I kid you not, as you know, I've owned a couple franchises, and one of them even said, it's this kind of machine, here's how to turn it on. Here's to safety protocols. I mean, it went step by step. So anyone who never has touched this machine before could
Mm-hmm.
operate this machine by reading the document. Someone
Yeah,
had to take the time and just put that on paper. Guess
yeah.
what? I have a sellable business now.
It's not just that because when you have that machine and you have it all documented, you also get to the point where I know this machine costs this much in electricity to run per day, and it produces this much in output per day, which is a net. It's either a positive ROI or a negative ROI because the positive's on the next stage. Because you can have one system that actually loses you money, but you need that because if it does it that way for the next system, you make a lot more money.
Right.
There's different ways to look at this because when you're building a business, you know exactly. If I speak for a service-based operator, if I speak to 25 people and I use this particular setup to speak to 25 people, I know that 15 of them are going to go to this point, five are going to go to this point, and five are just going to go here. That's also something you need to document. Even as a plumber, I get 150 calls a week. We end up going out to 72 of them. 72 out of 72, 45 are under $500.
Mhm.
Again, this is how you prove you have a business.
Yeah, because no one wants to buy you. I
Yeah.
hate saying people. You could be the greatest person in the world, the coolest, whatever. At the end of the day, someone goes, hey, you have a great business. Oh, but it's just you in it. I'm out. What
Mhm.
if you say, wait, I got all the systems and processes documented so you can actually take it over? They're buying your systems.
Yeah. And how many? I'm just going to ask a real honest question. We probably speak to, I know it's in the thousands per month of small business owners to add different
Yeah.
uh, opportunities to connect with people. How many of them actually, if they've been in business for 5 years or less, have anything documented past their books and their LLC.
Maybe 1%, if that. If and I'm thinking I'm pushing it.
I think I'm pushing it too. And I was one of them. I didn't start documenting until I was 3 years into business, I think. About 3 years. And the amount of backpedaling I had to do at 3 years to make sure I had everything was a nightmare.
Yeah, going backwards is tough.
But you
You
had
got
to
to
do
get
it.
through the hump, get all the income going. Okay, great. You're starting to breathe. Now you do
Mhm. And you can do those voice notes while you're getting the income done
it.
because you're also supposed to be testing your process.
So, give you a good example. My second business, I wrote my business plan before I launched it. Spent a couple days locked in a room, wrote my business plan. As I'm executing it, don't you think I put lots of notes what worked, what didn't work? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I executed per my plan, but I also wrote my notes, what's working, what's not, and made the adjustments for the next steps. And they were in
Yeah.
step. Guess what? When it was time to sell it, here's my book, here's my manual, turned it over to them. They were blown out of the water. Wait, this is telling us everything we need to do. And you have
Yeah.
staff. So we're going to hire the staff because that was part of the sale. Now they bought a business.
Yeah. And that's true too. That is a true turnkey business. And I think a lot of people who are selling a business throw that term out, turnkey business,
Yeah.
even when businesses are not turnkey. Because if I walk into a turnkey, I'm expecting systems, frameworks, manuals, employees, stock, inventory,
Yeah.
a pipeline that is piping hot, a active media base, and an active marketing system. How many of those turnkey systems that you see for sale have that?
No. But I worked with a sign company. They were in
Mhm.
business for 45 years. She's ready to retire, built up a nice business, had about 20 employees, really good. So we were talking about the exit strategy, and she pulls out two 4-inch binders. She goes, I've been documenting this for 35 years. It said who the vendors are, what they get from each vendor, the contact information, the cost. She goes, I update this every 6 months.
Mhm.
So she sold her business after I saw her everything documented. We came up with a plan. I said, just call it 4 of your closest people that you know of within a 10-mile radius that does the same thing that you do, who would buy your
Mhm.
business, and go out to lunch and go, what if I decide to sell? Would you buy my business? The first person cuts her, like gave her an offer without
On the
looking at
spot.
the financials. The second person says, listen, you name your price. Here's a blank check.
Mhm.
Because she had all these systems and processes documented.
Yeah.
They were not only buying a business, they were buying all the processes and systems which they didn't have.
Yeah. So I know we like to talk to small business owners here, and I know we like to give it. And this is something that your other coaches, your other gurus are not telling you. They're just telling you to go after the sale, go after the money, and
Right.
forget everything on the back end. Someone who has not built a system, not built a business, not built documentation, the first document that they need to work on is what?
I'd say their very first document is what are they doing on a day-to-day basis? Start there.
Yeah.
I
Do
mean,
you know what you do every day on your business,
well,
Steve?
yeah,
Document it,
well, it's getting updated.
getting updated. Yeah.
Well, you know why, because I've just
Oh, yeah.
made some changes about 6 months ago, so everything's getting re-updated. But yeah, it goes through like daily stuff. Here's your daily
Hmm.
activities. You have to do these daily activities, period. Here are your weekly activities. It has all that in there. Here's your monthly activities, your annual activities. It has all those things in there.
Yeah.
So I can turn it
And
over and someone can go, oh, I can do this.
I actually have my staff because I have some employees. They do this as well. What we have is their daily their daily operations. And on day one of their hire date, they're told that they have to make a copy of that particular document.
Mhm.
And during the next 6 months, they are actually going to be making notes on their copy of, do I still do this? Do I do something else? Is there a new
Right.
way to do this? Because I also believe that new people that come into your business may have some opportunities for you to be more efficient. to
Yeah.
maximize profits. So I encourage my staff to give that feedback because they just may have that amazing thing that I never thought of.
Yeah. In one of my businesses, I had staff and we had a daily to-do list, checklist. But they would make
Mhm.
comments like, oh, we don't do this on Tuesdays. We only do it on Fridays. Great. So then we had
Yeah.
a Monday, a Tuesday, every day had its own checklist. Next thing you know, we
Yeah.
started building all these systems. So when I hired someone new, I'd go, here's our daily tech checklist. And they're like, oh my God, it's detailed. It's easy to follow.
Yeah. Can do it.
And it was
And
public, and we all wrote notes and made changes as needed.
yeah.
When it was time to sell, someone walked into my business to go look at everything, and they saw that. And they're like, oh, I'm buying this right now.
Yeah. Oh, there's another reason I wanted to bring this conversation up today because there is a lot of hype around certain people who are entrepreneurs who are having extremely successful wins right now,
Mhm.
like crazy wins. They've created an app, they've created a system, they've created this. But you go back and you look at what they've done for the last 2, 3, 5, 10 years, you can't really tell. And
Right.
none of them, absolutely none of them are saying that they built a system, they built a framework, they have a method of operation. It's all, well, I had an idea, so I created it and it went up and this won. And I'm like, yes, you had an idea. Yes, you worked towards it, but you're forgetting about all these little checks and balances that you had to do along
Yeah.
the way. And it's setting up this false narrative. People think that they can buy Coban app and be up and running with $500,000 within a month. I know, but they're telling them. I'm seeing people actually telling them this. These gurus, these coaches. Yeah, I decided to do this with Lovable, just to name one of the app builders, and within 30 days, I made 4.2 million.
Right.
No, no, you didn't, sweetheart. But people are falling for it. So it's why I thought we
Absolutely.
needed to have this conversation because it doesn't happen that way.
No. Start, and I would say anyone starting a business, okay, get over the hump, get income coming in. Stop worrying about your brochures unless that's critical in your industry, which is a very
Mhm.
small percent. Stop getting all worked up and taking forever to create a business card unless that's so critical. I mean, as you
Mhm.
know, I've went 9 months with no website, no brochures, no business cards, and all I did was focus on clients. And guess what? 9 months later, then I started looking at a website
Yeah,
and a business card. But then I realized I focused on the right things first.
yeah,
Then I started documenting and creating the systems.
yeah.
Wow, it made a game changer.
And you see, that's the other thing is everyone thinks that they have to be perfect to
Yeah,
launch.
done.
The ones that do the best are the messy middles
Hmm.
because they launch before someone else launches with it.
Yeah.
And then they
Minimum
build
viable
through.
product.
Yes.
Launch with, that's what Apple did. They launched with minimal viable product. And guess what? Look at
Yeah.
them now. But they were testing, constant testing, documenting, learning, adjusting.
Yeah. Well, they still do it because I
They
always joke,
still
I
do
like
it.
launch like Apple because Apple launches new products a couple of times a year, right?
Yeah.
Hypes it up, people go and buy it. Do you know what happens with every single one of those products that they launch?
Yeah. Here's an update a month
Here's
later.
an update, not even monthly. Sometimes it's within a week. Here's an
Yeah.
update. Here's an update. Because they're launching, and when they find there's problems, they're just doing an update to make sure the problem goes away.
That's all.
They are
And they
not
know it.
waiting till it's perfect.
No,
You can always update.
that's it. Like we've said many times in our podcast, definitely know what you are, who's your target market, how are you serving them, your products and
Mhm.
services. Guess what? Then you start adjusting.
Yeah, yeah. And this is the thing. And this is why documenting is so important. You can't make those adjustments based on facts if you don't have documentation.
Right.
And this is another trap that people fall into. Oh, this isn't working. I need to pivot. How many times have you heard that? Because something doesn't work for 7 days. They give it 7 days and then decide to pivot. They haven't
Yeah.
got the facts, they haven't done the research, they haven't got the information,
Right.
they haven't documented anything. And so you have this very chaotic lineage of a business.
And if they're always
Documenting
pivoting, they're
causes
not
that.
moving forward.
Yeah. So document your process to stop that happening because then you can pivot based on a fact.
Right. And you can find what fell apart in your process.
Yeah.
That's what we did in my retail store. We found a process. Hey, this isn't working. Let's readjust it. We just found like one line, one task.
Hmm.
Everything else was fine.
Yeah. But
Otherwise, we would have pivoted and lost the whole process.
right. So to have a business and not an income, let's give them three things. Doesn't matter if you've been in business 6 months, 5 years, 10 years that you can do right now to turn it into a business instead of an income. I'm going to say the first thing is document what steps have to be taken every single day, every step of the way.
Absolutely.
What would you say the second is?
Hire people. So your business can run without you there.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to hire people.
Yeah. I mean, one of my coaches said, here's a simple litmus test. You go on
Mhm.
vacation, does your business go with you or is people handling it and you're still making money? And I go, well, I have to take my laptop, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, you didn't build a business, dude. He just would
Ah,
shut it down. He goes, now you hire people and the business keeps going and you come back from vacation without looking at an email, making a call, nothing. That's a business.
yeah. Now, I will say there's always that occasion that even if you get to that point, something may happen, but that would be such a major red
Yeah,
flag
that's
happening that it's a one in a billion chance.
one. Yeah. But if you don't have people or systems in place while you're on vacation, it, yeah, stuff happens once in a blue moon. But I've taken
Yeah,
vacations. Guess what? I've come back. The place was still there. It wasn't burnt down. All my
yeah,
staff was still happy,
yeah.
still made money.
Same.
And I didn't look at an email or answer a call. They
Yeah,
got it
absolutely. I got it. Yeah. And
because
I'm
we
going to,
had processes and systems in place.
yeah. And the third one is, and this is once you've got those things in place, start calculating the ROI of each processing system.
Yeah,
Because if you're going to sell it, they want to know. They're not going to go, well, you made 1.2 million last month or last year. They're going to go, well, your retail store made this in sales, this in profit, and this was how much was spent on inventory and overhead. Your online, they're going to want a full breakdown step
yeah,
by step. And what you need to be able to do is show, and again, this is something that a lot of business that I've seen. I just broke the $5 million mark. Yeah, that's your top line. But they only brought in 100,000 because of all the expenses that
right.
they brought out. So you have to know your top line versus your bottom line. And this is where we've talked about it before. Hire a bookkeeper if you hate numbers.
Yeah,
Like, seriously, you need someone that can handle that.
that's funny you mention that because one business I had a lot of machinery, and we documented on each machine the maintenance costs, replacement of parts costs. I mean, and then we actually got this thing from an electrician. Well, it was actually like at one of the hardware stores. It can measure how much electricity that one machine was taking because it's in its own plug.
Yeah.
So we did all that and we realized this one machine was our golden child. Like we will baby this thing because it's making us money like there's no tomorrow. And then we realized another machine we barely use. And I found someone who had the same kind of machine. I sold mine and only used theirs once in a blue moon, which saved me even more money.
Right. And they were happy because they made money.
Yeah,
You
they didn't
made more and
realize
they made, yeah.
they were actually losing money by having the machine, whereas I'm like
Hmm.
renting it for like $20 a day,
Yeah.
like twice a year.
Yeah. And I think you've just accidentally uncovered one of these big golden nuggets that even huge corporations are missing out on because we
Yeah.
hear it all the time. They decide to let somebody go
Mhm.
and they do not realize how many keys to the castle that person actually holds. And within 6 hours, they're offering them triple, quadruple money to come back
Yep.
because the place will fall apart without them. Now, it's always nice to have someone who can take on that, but you need to have everything so someone else can move into that position
Right.
as well if needed. But I hear about
Especially,
that a lot.
oh yeah, if you have the linchpin position,
Hmm.
uh, it's lost knowledge if they leave.
Yeah, yeah. And that happens far more often than you think.
Way a lot.
So this is why documentation is so important. And Yeah, we stressed a really boring topic on you this week.
Yeah.
It
But you know
really
what? It's
is.
one of
But
those that people go into business not thinking about this stuff because they think, hey, I'm going to sell my business for the elusive 1 million a year. It might be more than that if you built
yeah,
a business. But
they
in
don't have that.
2020 was my busiest year because I was getting calls. I called a business broker and they said, I don't have a business to sell. Well, let's make a business to sell.
Yeah.
And they were
It's
right.
and this is what you're going to get with us at Tea Coffee Hub. Yes, sometimes we have fun, sometimes we talk about funny stories and past things and that. But we're going to share with you the things that all these big top gurus won't talk to you about
Mhm.
because they want you to believe that having a business, being self-employed, is this magical dream moment that you wake up, have an idea, and all of a sudden you're a millionaire.
Yeah.
Can that happen? There's a chance, but you won't keep that status unless you do these things behind the scenes.
Right.
And not a single soul's talking about it.
No. Well, according to those gurus, Amazon is an overnight success.
Oh, how many years was how many years was he in his garage and then had to beg his parents for the money for the
Yeah,
server?
he was looking just for $10,000 for servers. That was it
Mm,
to house the first concept, and he kept getting shut down, and he was begging and borrowing. But I don't think they turned a profit until their eighth or ninth year.
yeah. There's a lot of companies like that. Like all the AI companies right now, they look a bit like they're a big success,
Yeah,
but they're actually all running in the red
yeah.
because they're having to constantly upgrade and do these things to be successful and remain at the top.
Uber
Ugh,
still hasn't made a penny.
still hasn't made a penny, but you know what? They will once it flips. Because some of the most successful businesses, you don't turn a profit until year five.
Yeah,
And it's the truth, and you have to be ready and willing to do that.
but they also have a sellable model.
Yes.
They built a business.
Yeah. And I hear this a lot with people who do like the network marketing. When I ask them how much they've actually made and versus how much the product they've bought themselves,
Right.
they're in the red.
Yeah.
You have to run everything like a business for the black.
So folks, check out the ROI on everything. It's amazing what you'll find out in your business. And when someone says, hey, when it's time to sell, guess what? You're going to have all the systems and processes in place. You're going to know all your financials. They're all going to be clean and ready to go. Now sell a business.
Yeah. Then you have a business that's sellable. So I want to know how much of this did you even realize that you were supposed to be doing in the business? Because this is a unspoken topic.
Yeah.
Did we just make you go, oh shit, I have a lot of work to do?
Yeah. And reality is it's not that hard.
It's not. You just have to voice dictate
That's
and
it.
figure it out later.
Yeah.
But let us know if you're one of the superstars that have all this, I want to like celebrate you and cheer you on. So let us know if you're one of those too in the comments.
Right.
But we talked about a hard subject today because you needed to know it. So make sure you like and subscribe. And please, this is an episode to share with other people because I'm guaranteeing most people do not know they should be doing this because no one talks about it.
Right. And if you're thinking about selling even in 5, 10 years from now, start now. Just
I
start.
know it can be messy. It's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect to start.
Just,
You'll get there.
just do it.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Steve. Well, it was a good conversation to have.
Yeah.
But we'll talk next week on another episode and give some more hidden details that I bet they're not thinking about to be successful.
That's it. Let's see those comments. How are you doing on it?
Yeah. Bye bye now.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on the Tea and Coffee Hub podcast today. We hope you enjoyed today's conversation and it left you inspired, equipped, and ready to take your next step, whether that's in life, business, or maybe both.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss future episodes, and connect with us online and in person. Share your thoughts in the comments section. Until next time,
Keep sipping,
keep growing,
take action,
and stop making excuses.